We had the first big brawl of training camp. Because the Steelers one the other day was just, hey, Justin Fields running in, that's great. But you had the first brawl today in a joint practice between the Giants and the Lions, and it was partly incited by Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
This is the big viral headline today because he decides, hey, I'm going to go in there because, you had one of the linemen getting up pretty slow off one of his offensive linemen. He decides, I'm going to go in there and make sure that they don't do this. Of course, it's hot because it's 98 bleeping degrees and they're playing. And a little brawl breaks out. Daniel Jones in the middle of it, inciting it.
Says a situation happens like that, you try to stand up for your guys.
Yeah. Now
that's a guy who's trying to win the locker room.
Well, I will tell you this. Why did Daniel Jones do that? Why did Daniel Jones do that? I'll tell you why. Because there is no one in the NFL who had a worse offseason than Daniel Jones. Why? Because the Giants could have gone after a quarterback, and they didn't. Mm-hmm. All right, well, because they paid a lot of money to Daniel Jones. Okay, he's got one chance to figure it out. All right, that's fine. Daniel Jones is coming back. The Giants are sort of starting over it. All right. But this is where I say I was wrong. I was wrong in the impact that the off-season Hard Knock show had on me and on the sports world.
What a disaster.
Said, who's going to care? It's the Giants. They're so bleeping boring. What the hell are they going to say, right? But the two biggest things that you took away from this Hard Knocks, the offseason with the Giants, is one, boy, come on, man, Saquon Barkley, they're treating him like they were letting Walter Payton go. I mean, just stop for a second, okay, Saquon Barkley. The other thing is everybody hates Daniel Jones. They can't wait to get rid of him. They can't wait to replace him. Joe Shane's kid is throwing shade at Daniel Jones.
He did.
While he's in his office.
Who would you draft?
You just watch that entire Hard Knocks, and you could tell every single person in the organization, like, we have to get rid of this guy. We have to move on from Daniel Jones. Now, why you wouldn't draft a quarterback or figure it out early in the season,
right.
You should do that.
Especially a guy coming off of multiple injuries. No matter what you paid him, that's sunk cost at this point.
You think you would have taken care of that, but, the Giants, they do things differently, and I'm sure they thought, well, we don't like the guys we could take. What are we going to do? Take Drake May? Look at the guy. What are we going to do? So, no, let's just wait. And whatever happens this year, if Daniel Jones is really good, okay, we got a quarterback we're already paying. He's got 2 more years left on his deal. If not, then we'll really make a push in the offseason to go after a guy. But we're paying him too much money now. We couldn't go out and get some. We didn't like the guys who get in the draft, whatever it was. So do I like the strategy? No, because Daniel Jones stinks. There's only one problem with him. He stinks. Right? It's only one problem. That's the only problem with Daniel Jones. He stinks. And so he had the worst offseason of anybody, because all he did was watch his team on TV every week, and when the coaches, the general manager, the GM's kid, I'm sure the GM kid's friends was texting him about stuff, that they don't want you. They really want to, they're hoping that you fail at some point so they can play Tommy Cutlets for a little while and then say, hey, this is great. He'll go appear at another couple of Italian restaurants in New Jersey. Bottle of white, bottle of red. Yeah, Tommy Cutlets is great. And then we'll go get our guy in the offseason. Like, I'm not saying they're hoping he fails, but it's like they're expecting it. They're prepared for the outcome. They don't think there's any other outcome other than Daniel Jones is going to stink, and now we got to move on to next year.
Now, the other thing that comes out of this, and I don't think Jones is the biggest loser of all this, because I think your GM and your coach, they both showed their asses, and they both should have been fired as soon as this stuff started to air.
Well, you got to give Hard Knocks something. I mean, it's
no,
because off-season with the Giants.
But it shows their level of ineptitude and their inability to read a room and the recognition that the damn red light is on and what you're saying is going to go out to a broadcast.
If the combination of Giants general manager is Joe Shane and his kid, I feel pretty good with that.
But if the kid's making the decisions, then maybe you got a shot.
But you're not paying the kid.
That's fine.
The kid comes along with Joe Shane.
But if Joe Shane's overruling him and putting this half-ass team together,
so you need
then it doesn't matter.
You need him to be
if he's actually going to take the kid's input, who actually studied, it seemed, the draft and what may have been done.
You mean we're going to be on TV, Dad?
Versus Brian Dable salivating. I know he lost a bunch of weight, but he's salivating over these other quarterbacks. Okay, how about your brain trust gets in a damn room and figures out how to go and either improve the position or recognize, oh, wait, we signed this guy. How do we coach him up, get players around him, and make it better? Oh, wait, we let that running back go over to Philadelphia. But we had him trying to pinky promise that he was going to call us back if he got another offer. Really? That's what you put out. So, yeah, they're worse. He's on the medal stand, but he's a distant third.
Daniel Jones, worst offseason in the NFL.
Shane,
I don't know.
Dable. Dable only gets second because he lost some weight and he looks like
that's a pretty
he
good
added
offseason, though.
He added some life to him.
Yeah.
Problem is, he still showed bad decision-making time and time again.
Well, he wasn't eating as much, so
It doesn't matter.
He's
Well,
probably a little loopy when you don't eat.
but you got to
get
keep the
loopy.
blood sugar right.
Yeah, I understand
So
that.
when you're
You get a little
watching
loopy,
game
a
tapes,
little
like,
shaky.
oh, man, I could go after that quarterback. That would be great.
You ready for your interview with Hard Knocks? The crew is here. I got to have a sandwich first. Hang on. Somebody go get me a sandwich.
You know,
Give me a
I
sandwich.
looked really bad last week's episode. I got to make sure I'm regulated about it. And I hope he's great and whatever. But from a coaching and GM position, those two guys look like morons.
We are in the full swing of training camp. The Giants and Lions nearly get in a brawl. Daniel Jones is standing up for himself. Aaron Rodgers looks great, but he's salty. I'm sure Aaron Jones looks great as well.
He did look pretty good in the clips that I've seen.
With us now on the hotline to break it all down, nobody better. Longtime friend of the show. Find him on Odyssey, Washington Post, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. It is Jason La Canfora. J-Law, what's happening, bud?
This is pretty, I'm watching. This is pretty emotional here, man. This is not your normal sort of quick acknowledgement, huh, for Freddie Freeman. What a good dude. Thankfully, hopefully, it looks like everything's going to be all right there with his son. But wow. That's,
Yeah.
I got goosebumps.
There was like a minute ovation for him. He had to step out of the batter's box.
Yeah, several times. Pound his chest, and yeah.
All right, so now with football we get to, what's one of the big storylines that stood out for you over the first few days of camp? You're like, wow, this is something I'm going to want to follow over the course of the next month.
I mean, I can't get too caught up in anything anybody does at practice. You know, like I'm too old for that stuff. You know, I can't get there. So, you know, this guy looking good and that guy looking good doesn't do a whole lot.
What about the quarterback battles? Like any of those? We've got 4 or 5 teams that are having them right now.
No, I feel like I kind of know where most of those are going to go, you know, pending somebody completely peeing down their leg. Like, at least I think I know where the lean is, you know, all things being remotely equal. We'll go veteran, and I think a couple are going to want to see what they have all the way through with their kids because, especially like, I don't know, Denver could very well be picking, you know, even higher than they did a year ago, perhaps significantly higher, in which case, you know, we're talking about a quarterback sweepstakes. I mean, it's sort of like who's getting their house in order and who's not. You know, like, okay, Miami checks some boxes. Are they going to regret them? Maybe. But, like, other situations where things are festering and things are smoldering.
All right, now you mentioned the Cowboys, too. CeeDee Lamb's holding out. Dak is talking every day about a deal that could be there. Does anybody get paid? Does Jerry Jones pay anybody, Jason, before the season or during the season?
I mean, I can't fathom that CeeDee Lamb doesn't get done before the season. You know, Dak, I don't know. I mean, if I'm Dak, I'm not. I think they're going to have to pay Lamb what he's worth, and I don't get the sense that they're willing to do what it would probably take to get Dak done now. They're running out of time. Like this is not a deal that I think gets done in season. I mean, if I'm representing the player, I'm telling you, go to hell if we don't have something done by week 1. You know, at that point, I'm playing out, and he's been hurt before and still got huge money. So they're running out of time.